Who are the Saints? Struggle to find identity continues in self-inflicted loss to the Atlanta Falcons. All right, ladies and gentlemen, yesterday, not fun. All right, it was not a good time to be a Saints fan. And here we are on Monday, the day after the day before. And we are going to talk about this game. I've drugged myself into the studio to talk about this. So Nick Underhill from the van, Mike Triplett from wherever Sting hung out in WCW circa 1997. Here we go.
Who are they?
A horrible team. They're a bad team. Who are they? I don't know. They're just... I mean, it's ugly. Like, this is ugly. This is... They're rebuilding, sure. They're bad, yes. But, you know, I feel like... And listen. For the last, 2 weeks... we kind of talked about how important this Falcons game was because it answered a lot of questions, or it had the potential to answer a lot of questions. And, you know, obviously we had to talk about where both possibilities, possibility of A, we beat the Falcons, or B, we lose to the Falcons. Option C, we really didn't talk about. And option C is what happened. Option C was a complete no-show, offensively especially. A complete no-show. And now you have to look at this team and you have to wonder about all of it. You know, we've hit the critical mass. If you go and look at the rankings, the Saints offensively are dead last in a majority of metrics. I mean, obviously like points per game, things like that. And I'm not like red zone offense, you know, like total scoring, whatever. It's just like 32, 32, 32, 32. Real bad. Horrible. All right. So we got to drag ourselves up from the bottom. And I don't mean like this year. I mean, just moving forward. You know, we're in a situation where we can't forecast this team long term anymore. Now we're forecasting this team on a week-by-week, day-by-day, practice-by-practice, game-by-game, quarter-by-quarter basis. We got to see something. We got to see some life. We got to see some just the ability to exist from the offense, from everyone, coaching staff, quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tight ends, offensive, everybody. And if they can't exist, if they can't be professional football players, professional coaches, then the buck kind of stops there. That's where we're at now. So no statues are being built, all right, for the remainder of the season. I don't care what happens. We just got to now, I mean, this is basically training camp. Fully evaluate every single step of the way.
No question.
Like,
I mean, that's probably my biggest takeaway from this game in particular. We spent a lot of time talking about quarterbacks all year, rightfully so. I mean, it's so important. We spent a lot of time talking about Rattler. We spent a lot of time talking about Shough. You spent a lot of time scouting the top college quarterbacks in the country. This is the first time I feel like that spotlight shifted over to the coach.
100%. 100%. 100%. That's what I'm saying. Like, this is that's that critical mass that I was talking about where we can't talk about Shough, Rattler, whatever. Now we're back to like, all right, what's even going on? You know, what's the planning? What's the prep? What's the game? What's the play calling? What's the vision? What's the identity? What's the plan? Like, now we're 400 steps backwards where I got to see like what we're even trying to do, why we're trying to do it, what's going on. And I mean, we're back to square one.
Especially, as we just said, coming after a self-scout, coming after a week to really get to deep dive. What's working? What's not working? What do I actually have on this team? What do I not have on this team? They've got nothing go to in the red zone, nothing go to, period. Their run game regressed today. I know Alvin got hurt, but in general, like, you know, they haven't been able to rely on their run game. They haven't been able to rely on anything in the red zone. They didn't figure out what worked best for Tyler Shough after that. I picked the Falcons to win this game, but I did not expect to see the Saints like biggest offensive flop after they had all that time to plan and dissect and everything. It was really disheartening.
Yeah, it is that and great word for it. It's disheartening. because you go through so many weeks watching this team, and baby steps here, baby steps there, whatever, good performance here, bad performance there. It is what it is. Then you see a good performance from all three phases, and then you get the bye week, and now you're thinking, all right, thank God, we're finally past the misery and the doom and the gloom and whatever. And then you have this performance that thrusts you back into the doom and the gloom and the misery even more. This is the worst. Right now is the worst forecast of this team that has been the entire season. This is the worst. Rock bottom, population, us. All right? That's where we're at. And it's here's what I don't understand. And I talked about this in the recap video. But we almost have to get back to the simplest, most just linear football possible. 4th and 1, whatever. Line it up, big on big, halfback dive. If you get it, you get it. If you don't, you don't. All right? That's it. Third and goal on the 1, we're doing it twice. Stop us twice or not. But getting cute, I say getting cute, but just doing anything else, it just needs to be a simple version of football now. The Taysom Hill 10 carries, him playing halfback, getting halfback dives. I know Alvin got hurt. It's just a lot of man, I don't know. We need perfect example. It was whatever second and goal or third and goal on the 1 when they had the snap that went over Taysom's head that we ended up having to kick a field goal and all that stuff. But right there, just call the play with Shough where he just reaches over the goal line. That's it. Try that. Try stuff like that. That's where we're at now. Try that. Do a fullback dive. Whatever. 4th and 1, take some quarterback power. It is what it is. And I mean, that's why I think it's the critical mass, because you can look at this game and you could absolutely say, when we were walking back from the game, I was we were discussing it, me and the guy I watched games with, we were discussing. I was like, what do you what actually is the problem? We were both kind of well, I mean, you get stopped on the 1, then you have to kick a field goal on the 1 on the other side, then you miss a couple of field goals, you have the turnover. It's I mean, a couple of those go the other way. But we're at the point now where you can't say that. We're at the point now where you can't say, well, if you make the field goals and you get the 4th down on the 1, and then, well, if you get the other, we should have scored 20 extra points. It's yeah, okay, but we are 11 weeks into the season, and we're averaging the lowest points per game in the NFL. We are a couple of points off of a record. The record, by the way, is 12.1 points a game. So 12.1 points a game is the lowest in the last 25 years. Okay, it's happened twice. Now, we're not there yet, but we're not that far away, okay? And all of that, well, if you make the field goal, well, if you do this, well, if you do that, we can't do that. We can't say that. Missed opportunities or whatever. The whole season is a missed opportunity. The whole season is missed. Every offensive possession is a missed opportunity. Every trip to the red zone is a missed opportunity. They might as well build a concrete wall on the 1-yard line. That's how it feels. That's exactly how it feels. There's a force field or something at the 1, and the Saints just cannot seem to get past it. They cannot seem to get past that 1-yard line.
I'm sure everyone that left a mean comment to you about picking the Falcons has circled back since the end of the game and been
yeah, the apologies are blowing up my phone.
I picked the Saints. I thought they were going to win. I thought I was encouraged by Shough coming off that Carolina game. I rode with hope. I still felt okay with them after this one. It kind of some stuff that hey, look, seeing them down there would have been great. The thing that bothers me...
Shough was all right. Shough was fine. I mean, whatever. Shough's not the reason we lost this game. If anything, I think he held on to the ball way too long early on. He had a lot of read, pause, sack, whatever. I mean, he took 5 sacks, and a couple of those were on him. So, I mean, I thought he was all right. I mean, whatever. He's not... Shough should not be the headline after this game.
big time about this team is that it feels like every time they run the ball well is because they go to heavy personnel and they play from under center. And they had another one of those tries with Devin Neal.
Yeah.
But like they just don't want to do it. It's like
Yeah.
they know it works and they'll go to it when they have to get some yards, but then they go away from it and they don't come back to it because philosophically, I guess that's not how they want to play, but it seems like that's what your team's good at. So like you should lean into it.
We are the guy playing Madden who the only thing he can do is I formation, power I, run the ball straight down the field. Is it fun to play like that? No. But right now, that's all we can do. So right now, do it. Especially in this situation. Do it. Like the Devin Neal drive that Nick's talking about, they ended on the 1 yard line, the 4th down. It's like, brother, just hold triangle, hurry up offense, run the same play, and do it until they stop you. And if they don't stop you, cool, we score. You know, like it's a desperate situation. Desperate times call for desperate measures. Run the ball. Spam the play. I don't care. At this moment in this game, I didn't care about developing anybody. I didn't care about developing Tyler Shough. I didn't care about getting Olave the ball or Devin Neal or Devon Vele or whatever. Just score. Just get down there. You know, read the room. There's 80-something thousand people here who are not happy bunnies.
And that wasn't that what we were talking about with Kellen Moore, is that he blends to his personnel and he does all this. And I don't know that we've seen that. I don't know what his philosophies are really. And maybe it's hard to decipher because like it doesn't work. And maybe it doesn't work because they don't have the players. That's certainly a possibility.
That is absolutely possible. And that's kind of the only maybe right now. The only maybe right now, because here's the deal. Kellen Moore ain't getting fired this year. He ain't getting fired this offseason, okay? So that conversation, like the idea of like, okay, well, I've seen enough, whatever. We're not there yet. We're not there yet. All right, that would be next year. The big question now is this a problem with the horses in the stable? Can Kellen Moore just not do what he wants to do because of the roster? Possible. We saw that with Kubiak last year, where there were some games, the Chargers game is the best example of this last year, where Kubiak looked like he had a play sheet that would fit on an index card. It was about 4 plays. And a lot of people in that game were like, what is this? Like, what's this play calling? And the only explanation is, well, he just doesn't have, he cannot do what he wants to do. So he's doing 4 or 5 things. Maybe that's it. That seems like a reach. That seems like a bit of a reach right now, but maybe the issue is that when Alvin went down, all of a sudden your only 2 running backs are Devin Neal and Taysom Hill, and maybe it was just like, look, I don't know what else to do. We just had to rip up 60% of the playbook, and now maybe that's the case. I don't know, but I mean,
but maybe it just doesn't work because it doesn't work. That could also be something too, or I don't know. Like, it just feels like you got to find a way to sustain some type of success while you maybe build around your own personal philosophies. And it sure does seem like there's a couple things that they could be doing that do work, but they just don't want to do it. You go under center, you're on the ball. Like they come out in the second half and they do that, and it's like 6 yards, 4, 4, 4, 6 again, and then it's gone. I think just doesn't make sense. It's like they want to do everything from shotgun down to like you get down to the half-yard line and you go to shotgun with Taysom Hill. I don't like, it just seems like stubbornly they wanted. So I guess we know what they want to be a little bit, but it's a thing that doesn't work. They want to play in space and they want to play from shotgun, but like you aren't getting the results. So
I mean, this game right here, or any game really, if the entire offense is being run through Devin Neal and Taysom Hill, you're probably not going to have that much success. No hate to those two, but it's just like, how is that? That can't be your path to victory, you know? And yeah, I mean, like, I understand like the Taysom thing. For some reason, that's just all he does, right? Like, it's the quarterback power, Taysom's shotgun, you know. So them in shotgun from the half-yard line's a little bit different than other teams in that, because that's just kind of like the play. But yeah, make it easier. You know, just like, hey man, I don't know, have Taysom under center or have whoever under center and just do a quarterback sneak. Like, do some sneaks. Again, Tyler Shough 6'5". Let him stick the ball over. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But I'd rather try that than what we saw with Taysom on the rollout thing, and then the botch thing on the half-yard line. I mean, in the second half, they ran 30 plays, back-to-back drives, 15-play drive, 15-play drive. They got like 140 yards, and they came away with 3 points. And they were on the 1-yard line and the half-yard line. That is bad news bears. That can't happen. That's busted. That's broken. That can't be a thing.
Maybe that's got to change. I don't know. Maybe you got to get different players, but whatever it is, I don't know what they are, and it's hard to see what they're building toward because, like, A, the offense stuff isn't working. B, it kind of, the Taysom stuff, like, it just doesn't feel like anything's building to anything right now at this juncture, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, we're force-feeding Taysom Hill 10 to 15 snaps and carries. That's our offense. Like, is that our identity? Is that what we're doing? It's like, well, we're just going to run Taysom Hill up the middle and see what happens. He's averaging 1.7 yards a carry. Run Devin Neal. Like, I don't know. I mean, it just seems like there's other options. It seems like there's other stuff to do. I mean, I don't know. Like, do something else. But just Taysom Hill fullback dive, Taysom Hill halfback dive, Taysom Hill quarterback power, and you kind of rotate that. That's the offense?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the most frustrating thing about this whole thing. I mean, the failing to score in the red zone. I mean, it's funny, you can what if these games all the time, but they got stopped at the 1-yard line twice and missed 2 field goals. You don't have to be a math major to figure out how different this game could have played out. But the most frustrating.
Yeah, look, 100%. And I know I said that 10 minutes ago, but I really don't care about the score. I mean, yeah, obviously I wanted to win, all that, whatever. But the analysis is less about, well, you get stopped on the one twice, that should be 14, then you kick 2 field goals, that, okay, now it's 20, and you fumbled on the first possession, that you gave them a field goal, like whatever's a 23-point swing. I'm not really concerned about, like, we should have won this game by whatever, like 1 or any of that stuff. This is more, and this is kind of a look past the results. It looked past the theoretical results because that didn't actually happen, but the overall direction, philosophy, identity, whatever of this game was not good enough. Regardless or irregardless, as some of my friends would say, of, well, if we would have done this, we might have won. Well, if we would have kicked these field goals, well, if we would have scored on the one, like take that away. This is more of just like, what were we doing? What happened the last 2 weeks? What was going on? What was everyone doing? What was the prep like? What are we even doing moving forward? What is the plan? What's going on?
Frustrating part of it to me is we were excited to evaluate Tyler Shough, and it feels like an incomplete. Like,
oh yeah,
partly that's because I think he did some good things. He didn't quite elevate the team above, so he probably got like a B- or a C+ or whatever. When you do your film study or something like that, but it just feels like we got cheated out of what we came here to see today.
Yeah, it really does.
I'm not comfortable like ever, but I, this is obviously the big part of the story. Like, I'm not comfortable really asking for anyone's job or whatever. Like, it's real life stuff going on. But as it pertains to the kicker, like, is the coach at a juncture where?
Yeah, I mean, he's gone. Like, Groupie's gone. I mean, Justin Tucker and they're working on a couple kickers on Monday. I mean, it is what it is. Like, yeah, you don't ever want to call for someone's job. Like, I understand all that, but he has had plenty of time to figure this out. And Groupie is missing field goals at a crazy rate right now. I don't care if you're working at Subway. If you're messing up 60 or 40% of the sandwiches that are being ordered, like, I mean, they're not going to give you 3 months to figure it out. You know what I mean? If you're asking for a meatball marinara and you're sending out tuna melts 3 months down the road, if you can't get them, that's it is what it is. You know what I mean? Sorry. And that's where we're at with Groupie. Like, brother, you're in a dome. These aren't 60-yard field goals. These are like 45-yarders, 40-yarders, 35-yarders, 38-yarders. Like, these are very manageable field goals in a dome, and it's just not happening. So, I mean, you hate to see it. Love him like a brother. But, yeah, Justin Tucker was working out at 9 a.m. Monday. He'll probably be signed by 1 p.m. Monday.
He potentially personally, I feel like it's past expiration.
Yeah,
I don't
man.
know though. Like,
Come on.
but is he at a juncture where, with a straight face, can he walk in there on Monday and say we're going to continue to keep doing
No
this?
way. No way.
Today felt like a new turning point to me.
Yeah.
And look, the Saints screwed up by letting Will Lutz go when they lost confidence in him. So it's not always an easy decision with a kicker. And
Let me say this. I've seen a lot of that. I would be very careful with that, with like, well, 2 years ago, this, and this because of something that's happening now. The point is that right now, this season, Groupie is not doing what he needs to do. Nothing to do with what happened 2 years ago. Nothing to do with Will Lutz. Nothing to do with whatever. This should have been figured out this year. Okay, this should have been figured out a couple weeks ago. Justin Tucker is available. Rodrigo Blankenship's available. People are available. They should have been brought in and been working out. This should have already been happening. Nothing to do with Will Lutz. Nothing to do with 2 years ago. Nothing to do with Dennis Allen. The last 90 days, this should have been dealt with. Okay, if Charlie Smith's not good enough to usurp Groupie, then maybe okay, what's he doing on the team? Again, Rodrigo Blankenship is doing YouTube videos trying to get a job as a kicker. I'm not saying sign him, but at least bring him in to work out. Justin Tucker's hanging out. At least bring him in to work out the last couple of weeks. So the Lutz thing, whatever. I don't care. I could care less about that stuff. Once people are out of the building, I don't care. I don't care what, like Shaheed. People kept telling, or not Shaheed, Trevor Penning. People kept being like, well, what if Trevor Penning goes to the Chargers? He's an all-pro. Whatever. It is what it is. That happens. The Jets can't be crying about Sam Darnold. The Browns can't be crying about Baker Mayfield. It happens. It is what it is, right? You never know the butterfly effect and how change and all that stuff affects people. So who cares? All right. I don't care what Will Lutz is doing. I don't care what Dennis Allen did. I don't care about the Blake Groupie thing 2 years ago. What I care about is right now, Blake Groupie is costing this team points and costing this team wins. And this team is not in the position to where you can lose possessions by missing field goals.
I did probably have more patience with it than a lot of people listening right now, and maybe you, and think, I understand the concept of, wasn't it, was it Darren Rizzi and Phil Galliano? I can't remember when the stretch was, but they kept rattling off those kickers like Cairo Santos, and they're like, look at all these kickers that got cut by their first team and they went on to have great careers and blah, blah. I understand the concept behind that. And we all named Blake Groupie one of the MVPs of training camp. I understand that they thought he was good and they wanted to find it. Today felt like a no turning back point to me.
Yeah, I agree.
I'll wait. We'll see what they do, and then we'll react to their decision instead of trying to predict what they're going to do. But this one was rough. I think we saw. Yeah. I think we saw Blake Groupie has entered a place that he can't get out of right now.
Yeah.
It's 8 misses now, right, on the season?
Crazy. Is that what it is?
I'm asking. I think it is
30. Is it 26 of 34? I think that might be what it is.
Yes,
I think he's
18 of 26. 18 of 26. 8 misses.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a lot.
You're almost missing a kicking game.
Yeah, it's tough, man. Like, you are making these, and it's just, it feels like you can't keep doing that. It feels.
It's 24 points on the season. Like for a team that is flirting with a record futility of averaging 14 points a game, that extra 24 points is a big deal. And that's 8 possessions. You can add that to the turnover. So here's the turnover differential. So let's say, if you give the Saints 8, all right, because I think it's pretty close. Like if you miss a field goal, I think it should count as like a turnover or downs, like things like that. So just field goals. Now I know like, you have to do this with all the other teams, whatever. But all of a sudden now, the Saints are, where am I? Oh, -4. So 8, they be in the -12 somewhere in there. Like they would be bottom of the NFL with the additional lost possessions and all that stuff. The team isn't good enough to lose that many possessions. They're not good enough to lose that many points.
It feels like something that it just. you got to make a hard decision at some point, and at a certain point, you can't just keep giving up points. And it felt like they lost games because of this. And frankly, hey, look, that you can stick with it and all that stuff, but when you're sticking with it, you kind of got to be right at the end of it, for to save face. It can't be something that, hey, we're gonna do this and believe in me because I'm believing in him, and then it blows up in your face. And I think that's something that can maybe threaten your standing in the locker room too.
Well, Kellen Moore, listen, Kellen Moore is in a situation where he's got to do something. You know what I mean? Like, he might need to make a change just for change's sake. Like, he needs to say, okay, we understand we're making a change. Even if he doesn't want to, even if it's like a net, whatever. But, yeah, this team, after that performance, like, they got to do something. They can't just say, like, all right, man, we're going to back to work, and we're going to try and make this thing right come Sunday. It's like, nah, man, someone's going to have to go. I don't care who it is. Someone's going to have to go right now.
And I don't say that lightly. I mean, but I think it is. I think it's something where people can look at you and be like, man, you're just like letting this guy do whatever, and we can't win a game, and you just cost us, and we didn't have a chance to run right strategy because we lost these 6 points early. It's tough. It's a tough place to be. I feel bad for him. He's a nice guy. It's just the kicks aren't going through, and at a certain point, the kicks got to go through, or somebody else has to do it. You pointed out before you can get on that Sean Payton kicker carousel, but right now the carousel is kind of feeling like maybe a better option.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. If not, you got to draft somebody or whatever. But they need to find
funny about that
there.
carousel. Like, one of my all-time memories, the Saints won a game against, I think it was the Arizona Cardinals about 6 years ago, and Zane Gonzalez, I think, missed like 3 field.
No, it was the Browns. It was the Browns. I know what he's about to say. It was the Browns, and I think they released him or whatever. Like that night, I don't even think he got back on the plane.
Goals and an extra point, or 2 extra points and 2 field goals, and he got cut the next day.
Yeah,
he's the guy that just made all the field goals for the Falcons today. Like, they keep resurfacing, but sometimes change of scenery. You need it, and they need it.
I mean, the longest he's ever hit is from 57, so it's not like.
And that's another. You're right. It's another indictment on him in this era of the long field goal. He's not.
Yeah, man. I mean, I'm not saying everyone's going to be Brandon Aubrey, but yeah, you got to be able to. I mean, kicks are too easy now. People are drilling kicks from 60 yards like it's nothing. And a 35, 40-yard field goal with Blake Grupe right now is absolutely hold your breath. And it just can't happen. Like the rules, the way that the NFL is being played now, you got to be able to hit from a super high clip from 55 to 60. It's just. You got to be more efficient.
One of the guys making the 60-yarders either.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think maybe you're willing to experience some variances if he's if he's a long range shooter, and he's not right now. So it's tough, man. I feel bad for him. I'm sure he's going through it, but it's just kind of the reality of the situation. All right, we're gonna hit a quick break. And
all right, there you go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, disappointing. Let me know in the comments below. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next video.